Hello, welcome to Half Hour of Horror with Love Horror. How are you doing? It's back. We're here again, and I'm Alex Humphrey, and also I'm with Tom Atkinson. Hey, Tom.
Tom Atkinson, that's
Tom
me.
Atkinson, it's you. And also, why I'm stumbling over my words is because I believe this is our third episode? Is it our fourth episode?
I think this
It's
is,
our third.
if you include the prologue, this is the fourth, but it's the
Okay.
third, which is
It's our
officially the
third.
point at which most podcasts die. So
Yeah.
by making it to 3, we've broken the
We're doing well.
broken
We're
the
doing well
seal.
making it to 3. Look, I'm not going to give you a big spiel about what we are, what we're here to do. If you want to know that, go listen to our first episode. And whilst you're there, maybe listen to us talk about Blair Witch, maybe listen to us talk about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today to talk about a whole different film. And I'm going to launch into my intro. You ready? You ready for me to launch?
Go for it. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm excited about this
Here
one.
we go. Dubbed the King of Horror, not just because of his name, Stephen King is a prolific and immensely popular writer with over 65 novels and approximately 200 short stories to his name. Penning tales from 1967 to the present day, King has dipped into multiple genres from gothic to sci-fi to fantasy and beyond, and often uses authors as his characters. Can you think of some films where he used an author as a character?
The one with the window. The what's it called? The one with Johnny Depp that they made a film out of it. It's called
Yep.
the Secret Window. Secret Window.
Oh, is that? Oh, I
Secret Window.
don't have that one. What's the other one? There's one with kind of vampires in it. There was a TV show or TV special.
Yeah, that was Salem's Lot.
Yes, and the very famous one. all
God, yeah,
work
he's
and
an author
no.
in that as well, isn't he?
Yes,
The
Jack
Shining.
Torrance in The Shining. Yes, there you go. Good,
Yeah,
good.
is it a
Also,
bit of an
Bag
ego
of
trip
Bones.
that he likes? Bag of Bones.
Writing
as well.
about
I don't know.
writers.
Is he an
Maybe.
author in Salem's Lot? I can't actually remember. I only said that because
Ben Mears is in Salem's Lot, who's an author. That's the character.
He is an author.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a weird ego trip where, or you quite often have?
Yeah, maybe.
It's quite weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But to date, they've been, so as we just mentioned, there's a few of those famous Stephen King stories, all of them been adapted. So, but to date, there's been 36 TV adaptations and 56 movie adaptations of his work, with more set to come. In fact, Running Man, that just came out, didn't it? That's Stephen King. If you didn't know,
version. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of these films and shows have kind of become famous in their own right for a variety of reasons. Kind of like the legendary look of Pennywise. I think that was, how It did it, both the versions of It. That's what most people think about when they think about that. Things like The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, which a lot of people don't know as Stephen King, but they're both extremely famous films, really well thought of.
Amazing.
Yep. And kind of the iconic prom scene from Carrie. Again, it's kind of a lot of scenes from Carrie, how they look and how people think about those films. That kind of transcended the original novel, I would say. So these visual versions have overtaken the written source material in many people's minds, and that is most definitely the case for the movie we're discussing today, Misery, starring Kathy Bates and James Caan. Now, it's definitely overtaken. Lots of people know this, but another important reason this has overtaken the book is that Kathy Bates was the first woman to win an Oscar for Best Actress in a horror or thriller film in 1991. Also, her character, Annie Wilkes, has ranked the 17th most iconic villain in the American Film Institute's list of 100 heroes and villains. So yes,
it's quite funny actually, because quite often people complain that horror films don't get enough representation at the Academy Awards, and you'll quite often get people say, "Oh, no horrors have ever got like an Oscar or whatever." And actually, I think a lot, you forget that she did for Misery.
Yeah.
So
People are funny about that. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, they are underrepresented. I would say they're not always thought of as worthy. But yeah, so we're here. We're talking about Misery. Before
we jump in, can I ask you, have you read the book first? That's the important question.
I haven't read the book. I haven't. If I'm honest, I haven't. No, if I'm very honest, I haven't read that many Stephen King books.
I weirdly think I had the book because I think I liked the film, and then I got the book, and then I never read the book. But I have read some Stephen King books, but for that one, I just didn't. And
you didn't read that?
No, and
that's interesting.
It's a tricky one because you will usually get people when they go into analysis of Stephen King films, breaking down, "Oh, yeah, it was so much better in the book where, this should have happened," and so you won't be getting that in this podcast,
No.
guys, so
No.
that might be good or bad.
No, and as I just went through in that introduction, there's so many Stephen King stories. So many of them have been adapted, and how they've been adapted. Some of them are drastically different to the book. Some of them are not. Some of them Stephen King hated. Some of them he worked on. This is one he worked on. This is one he was very involved with. Other ones he wasn't. So it's kind of like, I don't know. And I think with him, with his work, some of them kind of people don't even know they are Stephen King. It's not always known that they're Stephen King stories, I think, when he does them. Not always.
Would you say Stephen King has single-handedly sort of had the biggest contribution to horror?
Of any author?
More than any other individual? I would say individual, really. I mean, come on, if we're going to put like John Carpenter up there, I mean, a lot of the John Carpenter, I mean, he's worked with him a lot and stuff. Without some of Stephen King's ideas, what would horror cinema look like?
Yeah, it's heavy hit. I mean, yeah. A lot of his stuff is kind of heavy hitting, big, famous kind of films or TV or stories. So yeah, I guess probably he's pretty much up there in one of the most important figures, I guess, in horror. Full stop. Yeah, across every element,
king,
really. Yeah, the king of horror. That's why they call him that. That's why they call him that. Yeah. My question was going to be, when was the last time you saw this film?
Before the rewatch for the podcast, I honestly can't remember. It must have been
me neither.
Like 15 years ago, maybe more.
Wow.
It's oddly one of those that isn't on TV for some reason. You get Shawshank Redemption come on, A Green Mile comes on, a lot of other Stand By Me comes on, or even onto the streamers. I can't remember seeing Misery on a streaming platform for ages, so it wasn't exactly easy to track down. So
No, I haven't seen it for ages either.
But that was quite nice. It was quite refreshing to see something I hadn't seen for such a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you?
No, I haven't seen it for a really long time. I really hadn't. But it's a film that, as we'll talk about, I think it's a film that you remember very clearly. And in fact, it did.
Yeah.
There were some bits of it that surprised me, but a lot of the bits of it I did remember very well. So I was kind of like, that's why I think that's why we're talking about it, because it is quite an iconic film in its own right. Definitely. Hey, before we start the proceedings, start the timer. Did you bring a tribute? I've got my tribute.
Oh, I've got a tribute. Do you want to go first? You should go first.
You want me to? Okay, right. Well, I will. I banged my mic in excitement. Okay, it's stable again.
This is always one of the most exciting parts of our podcast for me. Anyway,
it's true.
So,
this is normally the bit where I smack into the mic or
it's mic
throw something
on
the floor. It's mic bang worthy. It's the mic bang time. Right, this tribute. So this tribute I picked this up in a charity shop. I can't completely validate its authenticity. So I can't. It's exciting. But I can't tell you 100%, it could be anything. But it is, I'll show you. Okay. It is. It's a mini poster for Misery, for the film.
What?
And if you look, it's signed. You've got Stephen King here.
What?
James Caan. You've got Rob Reiner, the director. And you've got Kathy Bates all on this. And it's got no... It doesn't have a bat. Normally sometimes they have a little stick of authenticity.
Oh yeah, like a little.
So I don't have that. I haven't got that. But I picked this up. That's probably why I got it for a good price in a charity shop. But I have got this here now. I'm not saying 100%, but if you keep an eye on the website, maybe we might run a competition to win this at some point.
That
some
might
lucky,
be the best prize we would ever have had on our site, potentially.
Jiggling it around. It's nice, isn't it? It just looks nice. It's just a nice thing.
I'm going to reach out to Stephen King and just ask if he remembers writing on it, and then just use that as our stamp of approval. Make it authentic.
That'll be it.
And make it the most valuable prize ever on our site. Well, that makes my bloody tribute look a bit rubbish, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. What's your bloody tribute?
I'm going to have to make my tribute seem better now. Hold on. It's quite heavy.
Is it? That's brilliant.
It's an actual working typewriter.
That's brilliant.
It's an actual working typewriter, and the N key's missing.
Brilliant. Are you going to bash someone's head in with it?
It's not actually, but I could remove it. Yeah, I'm going to bash someone's head in it as soon as the podcast finishes.
Great.
More than likely, I nearly bashed my own head in getting it out from the shelf that it was on. I want to say it was signed by someone from the film, just to make it sound nearly as cool as your poster bit. Unfortunately not.
That's
I'm not going to be able to put this in shot because it's really heavy.
No, that does
fall down
really
mid
heavy
recording. But.
Yeah, you don't want that to fall. No. Although if you do keep lifting it, you could build those arm muscles up like James Caan does.
I was going to say that was a good little workout. That I feel like I'm going to hurt tomorrow. I'm going to hurt tomorrow. I'm going to feel that. Feel the burn.
Feel the burn. Okay, right. Well, I think are we ready to start the timer? What's your?
I think so.
What's our alarm?
So so the sound this week. So when we meet our 30-minute deadline for talking about the film, this is what we're going to hear.
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car.
Could you hear that? Could you hear that? All right.
I could hear that.
I liked it. Bit of a spoiler.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
From the film.
I liked
a lot of people's favourite silly moment from the film.
Yeah,
she likes saying cock-a-doodie, and what's the other one? Is that what she shouts? She shouts at someone as well, doesn't she? While she
does a lot of her swearing's pretty good. Bitchly
I like
it. She says that.
Oh no, I can't remember that one. I like that she keeps calling him a dirty birdie.
Oh, a dirty birdie.
Being a dirty birdie.
I've got some quotes. I've got some quotes, so maybe we'll come in.
We'll save that.
Yeah,
we'll save that. Yeah. We should start the time. I'm being naughty and talking.
Let's get in there.
Much ready. Okay, right. Going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going. Okay. So I'll start with a synopsis. Directed by Rob Reiner and starring the powerhouse talents of Kathy Bates and James Caan, the story sees Paul Sheldon, a hugely popular writer, on his way back from a remote lodge in the snow-covered woods where he's been finishing his new book that will take his career to new heights. Whoa. Caught in a blizzard, he crashes his car and sustains horrific injuries, but is pulled from the wreckage by a local named Annie Wilkes, who is not only a nurse, but is also coincidentally his #1 fan. Is it coincidence?
Is it?
I think it is. Bedridden with broken legs and cut and bruised all over, Paul is dependent on Annie to look after him while he recovers. He's cut off from the world as his saviour reveals that the roads are closed and the telephone lines are down. Fawning and sycophantic at first, Annie tends to Paul's every need, revealing that Misery Chastain, the star of the novels, her favourite character, means the world to her, as does her creator. But when she learns that Paul has killed the character off in his latest book, her personality switches and a psychotic side emerges. Paul then realises that his life is in the hands of an unhinged fanatic and he must figure out a way to escape.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Wow,
I mean, we kind of, you're going to get spoilers in this podcast, I'm sorry to say, but I think that's. Yeah. I mean, one of the good things about this film is it gets going pretty quickly, doesn't it? It's got really quite a quick.
It's all in the intro.
It's great. I love that intro. It's really good. Yeah, it's straight in. Like you get him like. You have him like finishing his book and doing his little ritual with his cigarette and his champagne and everything, and then he's driving playing that song the song's really funny. It's like it kind of doesn't feel, because the writing or the text of the titles is quite like creepy, and he's like shotgun. It's like a really funky song when he's driving his car.
Which one it is? Yeah,
it's quite good. And then next thing he's just like. he careers off the road. It's like a horrible crash scene. Yeah, and then he's kind of like,
That's
he's
like
kind of that.
it's like a lesson in great filmmaking in what is told in that opening, however many minutes it is while the titles are up, without any dialogue. Other than him saying bullseye or still got it or whatever it is when he throws the snowball. He doesn't say anything, but
No,
everything's
it's great.
visual. You see the cigarette, you see the champagne, you see the manuscript in the little docket thing that he's carrying, and it all so clever.
And you even hear her with a kind of warped voice saying, "I'm your number one fan," don't you? When she kind of drags him out of the car and everything. No, it's brilliant. It's a really, really good opening. It's like that. I think all of that is pretty much, and the fact that she says that she gives him some drugs, doesn't she? She says she can't get to the hospital because the blizzard's too bad. You're pretty much in the film, and that's all kind of under 10 minutes. You're in the film, and they're in that setup straight away, which is really, really good. And then I think it's quite a simplistic story, really, isn't it? It's not a complicated
Very
story.
simple.
It is just that, as you said in that synopsis, like it is that he's there, he's completely, incapacitated. He can't really do anything because he's so mucked up. She looks after him, and then you're kind of learning about him, but you're also learning about her. And I think it's good for the fact that, they're great characters, number one, but also she comes across as odd pretty quickly, doesn't she? Something's up quite quickly as well. There's not. It's not hidden. It's not like there's other films where this could go on for ages and then she might switch quite near the end.
Totally.
But it's not really hidden. I mean, I think the first bit is because he's been writing his new book, which is a kind of change of direction, isn't it? And,
that's right.
It's like it's set in I think it's like it's supposed to be about his childhood and stuff, and they're like, it's like this the street urchins or something, aren't they? Like growing up on the rough streets, and she reads the book, she reads it, and then she has this massive, quite amusing rant about all the swearing in it and about how I don't go to the feed store in town and say, "Oh, now Wally, give me a bag of that effing pig feed," and like she just goes on this weird kind of rant about it. And then she spills something, and it's just like, "Oh, you made me do that. You made me do that." And you're kind of like, "Oh, wow, there's something up here."
It's the little glimpses that something's a bit broken, like even really early on from that, and that gradual kind of like snowball effect to that. And it's weird as well because I feel like that character and those kind of traits, like this is almost the archetype for everything that followed. Like in other films where you've got people who are similarly kind of unhinged and a bit obsessed with people. I feel like a lot of her traits are things that are now commonplace. So now when you see it in a film, after seeing like Misery and other similar films like it, as soon as you see someone just kind of twitching a little bit, you're like, "Oh, here we go. It's an Annie Wilkes."
You know it.
But back when this came out, it was a bit more of a kind of, "Oh, that's very clever."
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's also interesting because it's quite a considering it's a film, it's quite stagey. It's quite like you could imagine this being a theatre performance, really, because it's fundamentally mostly in that one room. It's mostly two characters. It's a lot of like acting. It's a lot more about the performances and their relationships than it is about anything else. You do get. I think it's really good because you do cut away and you do get the police who are kind of investigating, aren't they? Because there's the really good character of it's what's he called? He's called Buster, I believe. Richard Farnsworth is Buster, and Frances Sternhagen, she's Virginia, who's his like wife / deputy, and they're kind of he's like his kind of local cop, isn't he? And he's a little bit intrigued by the story because obviously as you're seeing that as time's passing, you're seeing that they're reporting that he's completely missing. They conclude, don't they, that he's died, that the car, they find the car and they say that he must have crawled out of it and died, but that copy's not really, he's not convinced, is he? And his investigation's going along, but that's not really the main film. It's just going along kind of little here and there. You just kind of go back to him every so often, which I think really works really well. Because it's
like the biggest thing to happen in their town, isn't it? It's like someone quite famous has gone missing, so he's like really, oh,
Yeah.
this could be really exciting. He's like really invested in it, isn't he?
Yeah,
No, it's good.
definitely. Yeah.
No, it's funny you should say about it being like a stage thing, because obviously
Yeah.
before this, although she was obviously involved in other films and stuff, but Kathy Bates was predominantly like,
Oh.
well, I saw a lot of her early success from
Yeah.
stage, and like a lot
Yeah.
of films that were made from things that she did on stage,
Oh, okay.
became films because of
Yeah.
people saw her perform, even though they
Yeah.
then didn't cast her in the actual film versions. I
Oh,
think it was
okay.
the impact of her on stage.
Her
So I
performance.
think
Yeah.
so that's where that comes through. But I think
Mm.
also when we reviewed Blair Witch Project a few weeks back, one of the things that we said that we thought was really clever about that was just how great an example it was of a film that does a massive amount with like surprisingly little.
Yeah.
And again,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, this is like a way bigger budget, way more of a
Yeah.
Hollywood film, obviously more stars in it and stuff. But considering how limited the locations are, the
Oh, yeah.
simplicity of the story,
Yeah.
and it all does just happen really quickly. Like it is again another lesson in just how to
Mm. Oh, yeah, in filmmaking.
say so
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, even though me saying it is quite stagey and theatrical, it's not boring. There is a lot of like, well,
Mm.
it's very well directed. And in fact, to get the performances you get, I mean, and the performances are fantastic. They're both, you've got two actors, just like absolute powerhouse performances. And what's good is
Yeah.
they're both just acting so much and so well. And I think they're both so different. So kind of Kathy Bates is very emotive. You can see her moods up and down. You know, she goes from this kind of like, yeah, kind of like you said, like sycophantic fan and just all kind of giggly and silly to go into this kind of like insane anger and just like aggression and violence. And then you even later on, you
Totally.
get these moments where she's just really like dead and like kind of blank and talks about
Mm.
suicide, and she just goes to this like
Yeah.
kind of cut off emotionless level, which is even kind of scarier
Mm.
really.
Like
And then
bipolar,
James,
isn't it? Sort of thing.
yeah, definitely. Oh no, definitely. And James Caan, a lot of what a lot of his performance is in not what he's saying, kind of his looks. You know, that you can kind of
Mm.
see the pain constantly on his face. You know,
Mm.
how the injuries, I mean, the makeup and the effects are very subtle, but they're very well done. I mean, his legs
Mm.
are, it's horrible looking at them when you see
Oh,
them
yeah.
quite early on. They just look really nasty. And
Mm.
a lot of his emotions, his acting is coming from how he's looking, his eyes. You know, he
Definitely.
learns quite early on that he can't really say everything he wants to say, so he's kind of playing along
Mm.
with Kathy Bates's character, and sometimes it's in the tone, his sarcasm, or just kind of like what he's not saying is what's really there. So I mean,
Mm.
it is a masterclass in acting, really, from these two. It's amazing performances from these two, you know. And even beside that, like I said, you've got the two cops. You've also got Lauren Bacall's in it, Hollywood
Yeah.
legend as his agent, who
Yeah.
gives a really good turn as well. Um,
Yeah, she's really good.
yeah, but it's like I say, interestingly, is quite a simple story. So really, all that's happening, yeah, he works out she's kind of, there's something not right there. A couple of times he kind of tries to, well, yeah, she burns his book, doesn't she? She burns his new book and says
That's right.
she's
Yep.
realized that God has
That's
delivered
no
him
good.
to her. Yeah. God has delivered him to her to like carry on writing the Misery Chastain books, and that's what he's there for. She's there to motivate him to take this character that he's killed and bring it back. And he tries to get out of the room, doesn't he? Kind of he has a couple of forays into kind of crawling around and like getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
very
it doesn't.
which usually result in, like, real tense moments as well, because you got that really,
Yeah,
and again, done really well, like, again, probably, like, the kind of something, inspirational to any other movie makers out there who wanna really nail that kind of
yeah,
tension that gets you right on the edge of your seat where, he's literally trying to pull himself around as she pulls back up
yeah,
to the house, and he's gotta, like, relock doors and put things back how they were and grab
yeah,
things just before
yeah.
just to
And
get
it's
there at the
also,
last minute. It's like,
and those are really interesting as well, because that's the kind of, they're the moments when he discovers more about her. So he finds this kind of weird scrapbook, doesn't he? And it's kind of, it's got all
oh
these
god,
kind of
yeah.
cuttings about her. I think it implies, doesn't it imply that she killed her own dad? I think. I thought there was one
it's
about her
funny, that
dad
scrapbook
dying.
that scrapbook is maybe, like, the weakest point for me. Like, I
Oh,
think when I
really? That's
first watched it,
interesting.
it was fine, but it felt like a bit of a very convenient and a bit
I
obvious,
guess.
like, of
I
a
can see what
sort
you're
of
saying.
that she had a complicated backstory. She gives
Yeah.
little, like, "Oh, well, when I was, when I had stand trial, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah." There's
yeah, I
some
love
sort of
that, yeah.
reference to a court case that she
Yeah,
was in, and you're a bit like, "Oh, what's that all about?"
yeah,
And so he finds that very convenient scrapbook with memory lane written on, and then
yeah,
that gives us the full backstory,
yeah,
with newspaper cuttings that she's kept of
yeah.
pretty much everything that
She's
every
done.
salacious act she's been involved in, which seems a bit weird for
Yeah,
someone who seems quite, actually quite, well behaved the majority of the time, but has sort of angry moments.
yeah,
But, and it's like moments in her life where people have either plunged to their death,
yeah,
died in slightly dodgy circumstances, or were
yeah,
somehow linked to her, or
yeah.
were in her care, like kids in a children's
Oh, yeah,
hospital.
and babies and stuff. Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty mucked up, yeah.
yeah. And
You don't
like the
like
one where
that?
it basically said she was like a monster, a dragon. It says like
The
dragon
dragon
lady or
lady,
something.
yeah.
The dragon lady.
Yeah.
I'm like, would she have kept that? Would she have gone, "Oh, look, it's me, it's a dragon lady." I remember that really fun
Yeah.
time when I went to court.
I can
It's
see
really
I can see
important for
what you're
him
saying.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it's an important
Yeah,
device because it makes him realise, 1, what he's up against, and 2, makes
yeah,
him justify, the act of killing her because he thinks, "Right,
yeah,
she's a killer. That
yeah.
means it's me or her." And so it's an important sort of element to have in it because up until that point, you're not sure if she's just a bit he might have just pitied her and thought, "Oh, she's just a bit unstable." But
Yeah, I
I don't know.
guess. Yeah, I mean, it kind of it solidifies that there's definitely something going on here, and she's done bad things in her past. I can see what you're saying. It is quite convenient, and it does feel a bit too. Maybe it's a bit much, but I think within a film where you don't know so much and you aren't given many clues, I think it's fair that you get a bit of
You
I think
gotta do
it's
it
good that you
somehow,
do.
right?
Yeah, you've got to show something somehow. I quite like as well that he has that entire kind of so he's being given like pills, isn't he, to kind of like for his pain and to
Oh,
kind of keep
yeah.
him
Yeah.
sedated. And I quite like he has that whole plan where he gathers up all the kind
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
the insides of the pills, and he gets like this whole
Tips them
convoluted
out.
thing of getting dinner with her, and then but it's just she knocks over the drink. It's not that she like finds out at that point, or it's not some big
Mhm.
reveal. It's just a silly accident, and he has to kind of give up
Yeah.
on this whole like that was his whole plan and just completely mucks up for a silly accident. So I think that's quite good. I
And
quite like that
you're
moment.
sure it's all gonna work out, or you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this is great," and when she does it, you're like, "Oh, what?" And then his face just says it all. He's just like
yeah.
she's like, "I'm so sorry, can we do it again?" And he's just like,
He just doesn't.
"Yes," and
Yeah,
you're just like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's good."
we move
Yeah, it's like
to
a little
probably
twist. Nice
yeah, it's
twist.
a good little twist. I like that. It moves along
Mm,
really nicely. Um, we
mm,
get to the point here though, because like I say, he's been kind of going around the house and he's been doing his little investigations. But we
mm.
get to the point here where it's probably the bit most people, if they've seen this film or if they know this film, they'll be aware of
Oh,
this
yeah.
moment, which is the bit where
Yep,
he wakes up and he's been drugged again, hasn't he? And she
yep.
stands over him and injects him. There's all lot of thunder and lightning,
Mm.
and then he
He's been
wakes up.
sneaking about, hasn't he?
Yeah, she knows he's been sneaking up because he turned the penguin back the wrong way. That's what it was.
Never
Don't do
let
that.
make it face north, always south for a
always,
penguin.
always point
You
that
should know
penguin the
that.
right way. You should have
Yeah.
learnt that. Um, and then she does this. Yeah, basically, she does this big speech about the people that worked in the diamond mines and how they wouldn't kill them because it would be a
Mm.
waste of what they be a waste. So they hobble them. They do the hobbling, and it is. I mean, this scene is just like
Oh, he gets hobbled, doesn't he?
he gets hobbled. So it's a
He gets
if
truly
people don't
hobbled.
know, puts a piece of wood, pulls the bed, she pulls the bedclothes back, puts a bit of wood between his ankles, and then he has a massive sledgehammer. And you see the first foot. I mean, it just completely just goes like, doesn't it? I mean, it's horrible. It's so
Yeah,
horrible. Like
it's very
yeah, I mean,
realistic. And it's one of
immensely.
those moments you would normally in a mainstream film of that because it was a kind of mainstream movie at the time, but it's one of
Yeah.
those moments that the camera would have cut away usually. You would have
Oh
cut
yeah.
something just like his
Yeah.
face, but the
Yeah.
fact
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
actually see the foot snap
Oh yeah. Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
a brave decision, but made it very
Yeah.
memorable and
Oh, definitely.
yeah. definitely made
Do you
it
know?
more of a horror
I
film.
know we both said that we didn't read the book. Did you know in the book she cuts his left foot off with an axe,
I did hear
and then
that.
she
I
and
did
then
hear
she
that, yeah.
cauterizes the stump with a propane torch. That's what she does. So it says the scene was
So he
changed so
got
that there
off
would not
light,
be too
really.
much
This
gore.
this this version, he gets off light.
I guess so. I guess he gets off light. I guess. I mean, I think they made the right decision though. I think something too extreme would have been
Mm.
too much. I think the power this film has is that it, within her performance as well, she just goes far enough that it's not too far. She's not you is funny sometimes, but it's also not funny. And I think if there'd been an excessive amount of gore in this film, it would have been easier to laugh at it, or to get almost laugh as in it was funny, but almost get so uncomfortable that you laugh. But by doing this, by having how realistic it is, really, because it looks so realistic, and you just imagine it and you can see it. I think that works so much better because it excuse the pun, hammers home the fact that this is real, that there's like,
Mm.
and also, like, I think it's great as well because he's spent all this time getting better and like going out and
Mm.
getting a key and all this. He's gone so far forward, and then she
Totally.
literally sets him back to kind of before the accident. Like, it's on the accident, isn't it? It's like he's gone all the way back again, and he's just got nothing. He's just like completely defeated. Like, I think that's
Definitely,
a
and
really
it shows
great
that
way of,
power.
yeah, the
It's
power
it's her
dynamic they
asserting
have.
power,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's her asserting
yeah,
her power over him, because it is exactly like I was saying about how important this character is and how others have
yeah,
followed it. It's that evolution from her sort of idolizing him as her
yeah,
hero and doing anything for him and thinking everything's amazing, to sort of sneaking in with a bit of, oh, I've got a bit of constructive criticism, but you don't want to hear it. But
yeah,
oh, can I tell you anyway? And
yeah,
him going, oh no, that's fine. And then
yeah,
she gets power and it grows, and then eventually she feels like she's superior, and
yeah,
he's like inferior in her eyes now because he's dirty, or he's, wrong, or he's
yeah,
bad, and he's sullied. So it's
yeah.
this kind of weird, and because she is it seems like she's from like a religious background, hears
Yeah, there's
God's
that as
voice
well,
and
isn't there?
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
feels
mean, it's
like she has these very kind of strong feelings of right and wrong, and
mm.
people who are good and people who are bad.
And it's also, I mean, the other thing that's kind of interesting. So, he's also been, like, as we said about this, the typewriter. He's been building his strength up, hasn't he? He's been like building his arm
Mm,
muscles up and
yeah.
stuff like that, and trying to work things out. But he's also been writing this Misery Chastain novel, and the interesting thing about that is that she thinks it's absolutely brilliant, and the fact is that
Mm,
she is his number one fan. She does encapsulate the readers of this type of book, these kind of romance novels.
mm,
So it obviously is a really good. He doesn't want to write those books anymore, but he obviously has written a very good book. It obviously is
mm,
as good as all his other books are, and it's ironic that how, whether he doesn't want to write that or not doesn't matter, but she's kind of made him write this really good book, like this book that is like that. There'll be loads of other people like her that would want another book, who would have been upset how he killed the character off, and they all want this book as much as she wants this book. And it's kind of ironic that what she's done has made him produce this kind of wonderful piece of like work, especially with what
mm.
happens in the end. But yeah, but before that, we
Yeah.
kind of there's a bit more of the investigation, and it's quite good, isn't it? Because the cop has got all James Caan's characters' books, and he's kind of read them all, and he's kind of trying to get into the head of, because everyone else has given up on the
Yeah, I'm
investigation.
not sure how that helps him, but, somehow it
Well, it
does.
is. Well, he comes up with a convenient. Again, he comes up with a convenient way of working it out because he, as you said, like the scrapbook. He realizes there's a line in the book which is exactly what Annie said when she was put on trial for those
Ah,
murders.
yeah,
She
that's
quotes
right, yeah.
exactly the same thing at her
Of
trial
course,
about
yeah.
not being judged. She would be judged by a higher power, whatever, and it makes him
Mm,
put this kind of connection together. And
mm.
then, but brilliantly, he goes to the house, doesn't he? And it's because at this point I think I think they've had a bit of
Yeah,
a
he
they have
goes to
another
the
fight,
hardware
don't they?
store as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He goes to the
Oh yeah,
hardware
and
store and gets a few more clues as well. But yeah, it's just when he's, yeah, Paul's just having another go at trying to escape, isn't he, at that point?
And and she's put him in the basement
at a bad time.
Yeah, he kind of turns up, and there's again a really good tense scene between them where they're both, again, it's all about what's not being said, because he obviously really suspects her, but he's just being really polite, and she obviously wants him gone, but she's just being really polite as well, and it's this really kind of horribly tense, like what's going to happen. And then the brilliant shock is that she just gets a shotgun and blows a massive hole in him, which I'd completely forgot happened. And I felt really sad because I really like that character. I felt really like, oh damn it.
It's not a nice way to go, is it? There's no coming back. He's not just injured. He's just proper straight through the heart.
Yeah.
Open chest. Boom.
Yeah. No,
it's not a nice way for him to go.
No,
and then after that, she doesn't even then take responsibility for that. She says, "Don't feel guilty, Paul. It's fine. It had to happen that way." Like she blames everything on him. Like she thinks he's great and thinks he's done all these great things, but in her mind, like she's got a very childlike brain, and she still kind of very much lives like a child. It's almost like it's a bit like the Ed Gein. I don't know if you've seen the Ed Gein Netflix thing. It's a bit like that kind of it's kind of like a fractured childhood where they've kind of been brought up in a strict religious household. It's something you see, I suppose, in quite a lot of sort of backwards sort of horror movies. Strict upbringing, quite often religious, and it leaves them in this perpetual sort of childlike state, but it just means that their emotions are very volatile. One minute they're really meek and quiet, next minute they're losing it. But she just she goes off up to her bedroom. She's just eating junk food, watching trashy TV. Like that really moment, like a kid, really. And I think, again, that's another element of her character, and whether or not it's the character itself or more the portrayal by Kathy Bates, but like it just it makes it very hard to hate her in a lot of ways. You're sort of feeling sorry for her.
No, she's I think she is I think why she was put in that list of great Hollywood, like great horror villains or Hollywood movie villains, is that there's something, all the best villains, especially in horror, there's something you kind of like about them. There's something, and with her, you do feel a bit sorry for her. Definitely, you feel bad for her, but also you kind of it's quite enjoyable watching her, and she's kind of, and then, as I said, in a way, in terms of what him killing off this character that everyone loved, that made him a superstar, that he's been a bit of an arsehole, really, because this is the thing that made him famous, and he's kind of throwing all these fans under the bus, and he's kind of you do wonder how much of this is coming from Stephen King, of like there were points definitely where he didn't want to write horror anymore. He didn't want to write types of horror. I mean, that's why he did the whole Richard Bachman, like he put a pseudonym on and then wrote books, and he wanted to prove to himself that it wasn't his name that was selling the books, it was his writing. So he released several books under this other name, and they did really well, and people were like, oh, it's almost like Stephen King. And it proved to him that it was, because he almost thought he was a pretender. It wasn't about his writing anymore. It's just these books were selling off his name. But in fact, what she's getting him to,
or something.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of, within this world, there are going to be a lot of fans of these books that think she's right, that he should be going back to these books, and he shouldn't betray them. And I think it's really good how in the film it all comes full circle, because she goes to that emotionless level again, doesn't she? And she's like, well, you finished the book now, so I'll kill you, then I'll kill myself, but this book will live on, and that's how it's supposed to be. We've done it now, and she's this kind of like, she's gone to this other place, and he manages to kind of convince her, doesn't he, that like well, we should do my ritual, we should have a glass of champagne and a cigarette and all that, and he's smuggled the kind of the propane or whatever it is, the lighter fluid, hasn't he, from the basement. And kind of the ending, I think it's a brilliant ending, because he just covers, he's got the script, he just covers the script that he's written, the whole book he's written, and he's like gonna light it on fire, and he like starts taunting her like, oh yeah, you remember how, you know, no one knew who Misery's real father was. Yeah, well, like, you know, or whether she's gonna, well, it's all in here, and you're never gonna read it. And he just like sets fire to it all, and she goes like, she goes absolutely mental. She goes absolutely
he just
mental.
knows she'll leap on the floor so he can do the killing blow.
He does the whole typewriter, doesn't he? Like smashes her in the head with a typewriter. And there's the fight is quite real. He's like poking her eyes, and it's quite like,
it's very realistic and very quick as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one of these overly drawn out scenes either, considering the length of the film.
Yeah.
It's actually quite brief.
Yeah.
Which again is probably more realistic as well.
Yeah, it's that kind of messiness of it. You know, he still can't really walk properly. She's been hit in the head. It's like quite a lot of like the tussling, isn't it? And he does the thing where he's like trying to make her eat the ashes of the book, which is quite funny. And then
he has to swing his leg around with his hand at some point to like trip her up.
He trips her up and she smacks her head. And then you get that kind of extra jump scare, which I would say I think this film's a bit better than that jump scare. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
I don't like that she comes back again and he has to like smack a big doorstop. I don't think I think that feels like a kind of Freddy or that's a slasher movie villain. That isn't that feels not real. I don't like that. So that's probably, if you say my weakest moment is probably that final jump scare. I don't really like that. But then you have a brilliant
We've only got a minute and a half.
Okay, we have a brilliant ending. So we're at the ending where he's with he's back with his editor, and he's released his book, and the critics are raving about it, and they're kind of talking about it a little bit, aren't they? Talking about her and all that, and he says, "Oh, she's, you know, I see her all the time. She's never left me." And then he looks he's in a posh restaurant, and he looks, and there's the woman coming with a dessert tray, and it's Annie Wilkes. And he's like, I'm your number one fan. And it cuts and it's just another woman. And I think it's a really good, like, the fact that it's going to be, that is it now. He's traumatized forever. That this person's never going to leave him. He's always going to see her forever.
No.
I think it's a really good, like, hammering home the real horror that he can't escape that, you know, that he is haunted now by this person, by the actions that have taken place and all that. And I think that's kind of the true horror of it. I like that. I like that ending.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if that is almost like the way Stephen King probably feels that his characters haunt him. He creates these books and these characters in it. And, you know, even through fame and by being committed to celluloid and stuff, they're then stuck with him, and people will always say to him, oh, that character. And maybe he's a bit haunted by all the different spooky, horrific creations that he has. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that weird where he's kind of almost writing about himself when he's putting himself in these situations. Not literally, but
I think so. I think it represents that. It represents that these characters are, like I said in the beginning, the characters become bigger than the author themselves. I definitely think it's that. I think as well.
Get out of the cock-a-doodle car!
Oh no! Oh, we ran out of time.
Didn't quite make it. I thought we were going to make it through the... What was it I was thinking we were going to make it to? I thought we'd at least get through the facts, but we haven't. In true form, we're running over again. But carry on. It's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I will, because you were talking about
we're never going to nail this 30-minute thing. But
no, it's hard. It's different. It's difficult. When you're going through it's difficult. You'll have to forgive us, folks. We'll get there in the end. I was just going to say that because, it is one of my facts as well. But he didn't really... he was quite... Stephen King wouldn't really ever talk about the book. He was very kind of like, he refused to talk about Misery for 2 decades, in fact.
Wow.
And it actually, what it actually was about, the book was about, and again, this is a difference between the book and the film, a lot of it was about his battle with substance abuse. So in the book, the character was a drug addict and recovering, and obviously when Annie Wilkes is giving him the pain pills, he then relapses into becoming an addict again. Now in the film, that isn't really obvious. It's not. He's just being given the pain pills, and he actually quite quickly stops taking them. So obviously it was something that King didn't want in the film, but he did put in the book. And I think a lot of for Stephen King, that character represented the drug abuse, and how it's kind of always there, it's always with him, it's this kind of figure that looms over him that he couldn't ever escape. So I think that's how he wrote the book. But I think what you said is very true as well. It's like about the characters, it's about what it's about the characters looming over him and the fans as well. And I also think it's like it's a very good representation of how anyone can suddenly become dependent. If any of us could have an accident or something happen to us, and then we're very dependent on someone else, whether that's in hospital
and can
or
you trust that person that you're with?
Well, exactly. And if you're dependent on someone who then takes advantage of that's a very deep-seated fear that we would be vulnerable and someone would take advantage of that. I think this film very cleverly goes down that road, and I think that's a really deep meaning of this film.
The main character in Secret Window, there are a lot of parallels with Misery, I suppose, just to have been based around an author. But again, it's a bit like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing again there. So it's like an addiction aspect. So he's trying not to smoke. He's given up smoking. I think he might have given up drinking. But then he has this sort of split personality who's kind of a bit more, who smokes cigarettes and is like this. So again, it probably is like a bit of Stephen King's self coming out.
Write what you know. That's what they say, isn't it? Write what you know, or write about yourself. Man. Just do that.
Exactly. Just do it. It's a lot easier.
My only other. Well, I've got a couple of more, not really big facts, but I mean, I think you were saying about that. Stephen King was quite impressed with Kathy Bates' performance, and he wrote 2 more roles for her. So the title role in the novel Dolores Claiborne was written with her in mind, and she did star in the film. And he actually wrote in The Stand. He wrote the script for the TV miniseries The Stand. His original novel featured a male character called Ray Flowers, but when he heard Bates wanted to be involved, he changed that character to be a woman so that she could play the part.
Oh, amazing.
So it was obviously quite,
what a compliment if you're Kathy Bates, do you know what I mean? Like, definitely. Deservedly, but that is exactly. So cool.
Yeah. My only other kind of interesting fact, I think, again, because it's about the deviations between the book and the film, is that the character of the sheriff in the book, it's multiple different police people or the police departments that are investigating, but what they did was they kind of grabbed all those characters and put them together in this character of Buster and his deputy. So they're actually invented for the film, and it kind of put them all together to just be that the one person was looking into it rather than multiple different people. So I think that's kind of interesting, because I think that's where I think that's better in the film. I think it works better. I think
Definitely.
Lots of different people
makes it a bit more plausible that she manages to keep it low profile and like avoid detection and stuff, doesn't it?
Well, and also it makes it like I say, it makes it quite shocking when he's actually killed, that you do feel something for this character. It's not just a random like police person who's just turned up and seen something. So yeah. What about your love horror links,
on the
Tom?
Facts? On the facts, I was just going to say, when you were doing your fact finding, did you work out how Paul Sheldon manages to put 2 pills in his mouth and they don't dissolve because he manages to take them out again?
No, I didn't.
What the hell? That would never work with me.
Does he do that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's. He takes 2 pills. There's at one point when he's like, "Oh." It does sometimes. That's the trick. But there's they're in there a while. They're in there a while, and then he takes them out, and they're like new. And I'm like, no, I don't know. Unless this was like in the 90s, there were pills that were like encased in actual plastic. I don't know. Maybe.
Or maybe it's one of them pills that's supposed to go somewhere else. That's why he doesn't dissolve.
Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe that's maybe. Oh, I thought about that. They're quite small for those sorts of pills. But no. Oh, well, actually, I've got one sort of weird link, but that's also a fact almost. You mentioned Lauren Bacall, the actress who's the Paul Sheldon's agent in this.
Yeah,
she was also obviously an actress in tons and tons of films. But in 1981, get your words out. 1981, she was in a film called The Fan.
Oh,
where
yes,
she was an actress,
Robert De Niro,
and she was the lead. No.
Not the Robert De Niro one.
Oh, a different. No, because that is going to be one of my links. But wait. Whoa.
Sorry.
This film was called The Fan, but it's not connected to The Fan with Robert De Niro.
Oh.
And in that, she's an actress, and a guy gets obsessed with her and stalks her.
Oh.
So it's similar to this, but so I thought that was interesting.
That's weird.
But
That's weird.
not. So I mean, I've not seen that, but you can check that out as a link as well. Then you've got the 1996 The Fan with Robert De Niro, where Robert De Niro plays the obsessive baseball fan who stalks his favorite baseball star, who's Wesley Snipes plays.
I think I've seen
and
that.
There's a lot. Me talking repeatedly in this podcast about how important Kathy Bates's portrayal of this Annie Wilkes is in this. I think there's a lot in his performance in that that feels reminiscent, and so I think you can see her influence in that. Another link, The King of Comedy. Have you seen that?
Oh yes, I have seen that.
De Niro again, and this time he plays an aspiring comedian who longs to be work with he's got an idol who is a talk show host, and he ends up kidnapping him. But it's just another really good example of De Niro playing a very convincing psychopath with serious kind of narcissistic kind of personality disorder. Again, similar to her. And then one more I was going to mention would be, which is a bit different actually, really, but again, really good performance. Someone who gets obsessed with someone. 1 hour photo in 2002.
Oh, I like
Robin
that.
Williams.
That's a great film.
He's a photo technician. You remember that one?
That's really good.
He gets obsessed with a family that he processes their photos, doesn't he, from holidays and stuff. He gets obsessed with them.
Yeah, that's a really good film. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't know if many people.
How about
know
you?
About that,
have you got any links?
I have. Well, the weird one I found. So there's a TV series called Castle Rock. Are you aware of Castle Rock?
I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
No, me neither. It's an American horror TV show adapted from Stephen King's fictional town of Castle Rock. So it's about the town, but the season 2 serves as a prequel to Misery and Annie Wilkes' story. So she's a character within. I think lots of Stephen King characters live in this Castle Rock town, and that season 2 is about her backstory when she was younger. So that's kind of that's an interesting one.
Definitely worth checking that out.
Yeah, definitely. And my other links is, as always, I try to head over to Love Horror because we've got an article on 10 lesser-known Stephen King adaptations. We've got a feature on that. We've also got the Stephen King books I did read. You can read my 100 pages of horror reviews for Mr. Mercedes and Dr. Sleep. And also, I did an interview quite a while back with a guy called Mike Flanagan, who at the time he had directed a Stephen King adaptation called Gerald's Game. But he then went on to do Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. So if you read that interview, which was when he was doing Gerald's Game, it's kind of interesting because I think he knew he had Dr. Sleep at that point. And he was him and his producer, I interviewed them in this lovely hotel. They were huge Stephen King fans. And I think rereading that interview, I think he knew he'd done well with Stephen King. He was in there and he knew there was another project coming. He kind of hints that there's something else coming. So you can.
I think Mike Flanagan's working on a new version of Carrie at the moment. Actually,
I think it's just because what he does, he gets it right, and Stephen King likes him, and he was a lovely bloke, and he really, really cares about the source material, and I think that's what Stephen King wants. We've got reviews of Dr. Sleep and Gerald's Game, which are both Stephen King.
I really like Mike Flanagan's stuff. His series on his various series on Netflix. I really like House on Haunted Hill. Is it?
Did he do that as well?
I'm sure I'm getting that right. The Blind Manor one, and also Midnight Club, and it Midnight Mass as well?
Yeah,
that's really good. So he's really good. His TV shows are great as well. So definitely a great writer director.
Yeah.
But how would you rate Misery, Al?
Well, I really like. I mean, I was thinking about. I still think it's brilliant. I think it's a great film. I think you've got a horror. Annie Wilkes is a horror icon for sure. They're amazing performances. It's just absolutely amazing performances. It's a great film for switching its tones. For like keeping you on the edge. It's very well told. It builds brilliantly. So I think it's iconic. I would probably give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's well up there. I think that, purely for the performances alone. And as you say, I think it's a lot more influential. Her performance is more influential than probably is talked about in anyone playing that kind of character. They've got echoes of this performance within them. So I'd say a 5 out of 5. But what would you give it, Tom?
No, 100%. I completely agree with everything you said. I think what I love about it is that it's relatively short. There's no lulls in it whatsoever.
No.
The performances by Khan and Bates are just like amazing and faultless.
Yeah.
And I'm just generally a sucker for, I think, not only Stephen King, but sort of his film adaptations anyway. So I can't think of Stephen King film adaptation I haven't liked. And I also can't think of anything that I can really fault in this film.
No.
I did say that about the book, but yeah, how else are you going to tell her backstory without like having to have flashbacks or some other?
No, I
So.
think actually my only other criticism, maybe the music is a bit over the top at times, but I don't think that's anyone's fault. I think that's that period. They didn't go for subtlety with the music.
Yeah.
I think the music can be a bit heavy-handed, but that's me really nitpicking.
Definitely.
And I say
it was very of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit kind of Silence of the Lambs, kind of that era of that kind of Basic Instinct, that similar sort of score. And then you have the sort of 1950s throwback music kind of put in, as you always seem to with Stephen King, always with Stephen King films, just to let you know,
Yeah.
But yeah, so 5 from me as well, I think.
Excellent. Great. Well, that was another classic. If you agree or you don't agree, reach out, tell us. And as I say, maybe we may be doing something to win this little thing behind me here.
We've got to work out. We've got to work out how we're going to do that. I think, if we find out it's authentic, you're going to need one of those briefcases with the handcuffs around your wrists to go out of your place to take it to the post office. We're going to have to pay the highest amount of money for shipping to make sure it gets there safely.
I think I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, it's still pretty cool, even if it's a reproduction. It's a lovely thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool, by the way.
And what is our next episode as we barrel towards Christmas?
Exactly. Get ready to get festive, because it's got to be a nice creepy Christmas Krampus movie, I think, hasn't it? There's nothing else.
You've already said it.
I know. Well, do you know there aren't that many good Christmas horror films. We're looking at kind of like the really good ones. There are one or two more which we're saving for future Christmases. My light keeps. Is that doing that? I'm not doing that on purpose. Is it changing, or am I imagining that?
It's changing a little bit.
This Krampus getting warmed up.
Yeah, it's getting involved
around the back there. It's one of the films that I don't know why we didn't get to review it on the site, as with all these other films. How did it come out and we didn't review it? So it's high time, and we're going to be, Alex, we're going to be Christmas jumpers?
Going to be Christmas jumpers all the way up. Yep, everything. We'll be doing it all.
You're going to light the fire, throw a couple of logs on the fire, a bit of eggnog.
Definitely,
that sort of stuff.
Definitely,
yeah.
It'd be
so
great.
It's going to be it will be a festive episode.
It will. It will.
We urge everyone else who listens in to do the same.
Yeah, definitely. So that's 2015's Krampus. That's what we'll be doing next. So so thank you for joining us. And thank you for loving horror as much as we do. Listen to some other episodes. Give us some feedback. Reach out. Suggest some films. That's what we'd like. Any final words, Tom?
See you next time.
I'm your number one fan. That's what I wanted to say, Tom. I'm your number one fan.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I live, do you?
Yeah, I do know where you live. I'm coming around with my sledgehammer for some hobbling.
The book type or the... Anyway, so we're getting on. Now we're really going to run over. See you later, everyone. Thank you for listening.